Askreddit Asks, what's a product or service you should never cheap out on?
If you're a hiker, camper, backpacker, your actual backpack.
And buy it last.
Have had the same one for 20 years. Money well spent.
There's really only one, URL redacted, watch. v=z@sen_sckxy.
I use an Osprey just for going to class and it's fantastic.
Anything meant to protect you. Helmets, work boots, sporting equipment, etc. If the purpose of the item is to reduce or prevent injury, then don't cheap out on it.
LASIK. They are supposed to do tests beforehand to screen for people who are susceptible to catastrophic complications, like a corneal tear. If you are going someplace that is suspiciously cheap, less than $1,000 per eye in 2005, they're probably skipping those tests. Edit. 2005 numbers because that's when I had my surgery and did my research. Edit 2. For those asking, I went from 2700s to 2015s right after the surgery. After 1 to 2 years I was 2020. And today I am 2030ths. So there's been some backsliding. But I'm still miles ahead of where I started. It was the best money I've ever spent. Edit 3. 2700s. Not a typo.
Anything that's a minor annoyance on the regular. When I moved into my new flat, I bought 2 spatulas, just cheap. Shitty plastic things that cost about 50p each. They're okay for flipping eggs. But other than that, they're pretty much pointless. You can't move anything with any weight with them. Because they're too flimsy. Every time I cooked, I was reminded of, and irritated by, just how fucking useless they are. On the other hand, a solid, decent spatula would have been at most £4. If you'd asked me at the time if I would have paid an extra £3.50 to avoid feeling vaguely pissed off every time I went to fry some food, I would have said yes in a heartbeat, but because I'd already bought them, and because they still technically worked even if they didn't work well, I stuck with them for far too long. £3.50 to remove that minor irritation from my day was well worth it. If you can afford it, it's worth looking at the stuff you did cheap out on and buying new ones. All the little annoyances soon add up.
Tattoos. That shit's permanent. So make sure whatever you get is high quality. Even if it's expensive. Research the artist. And take a good, URL redacted, their portfolio.
The rule I like to go by is
that good tattoos aren't cheap. And cheap tattoos aren't good.
This is one of the primary reasons keeping me from getting tattoos. That shit gets expensive fast if you want quality work. Anytime I've even gotten close to talking to an artist I start looking at similar estimates and just think, fuck. I could buy so much other shit with this money.
An IT system with full staff for a park filled with live dinosaurs.
Spare no expense.
Also, study your road signs, so that if you crash into one you can still tell which way the dock is.
Brakes and tires.
And if you live in an area of the world where it snows often in winter, then buy winter tires.
Electrician.
Going off this, most all home contractors. There is usually a reason that one contractor is much cheaper than the others. Low quality materials, incompetent labor, cutting corners, etc. And it will be reasons that you are either stuck with for many years or need to pay even more to get fixed. Now don't go with the highest estimate, but you also shouldn't go with the lowest as well.
Tires. It's the only thing connecting your 4,000-pound missile to the ground.
I bought new tires last year. Before that my parents had been maintaining my car but only the bare minimum. Holy crap, the difference in driving was huge. Way better control and gas mileage now.
Modems routers. A lot of times the cheap ones can't keep up with your internet speed. So you lose so much.
Seconded, but for random disconnect Wi-Fi reasons. Bought an Asus and the 5 GHz band locks up every 15 minutes, so I use 4 GHz now despite the crowding.
What's a good one that won't break the bank?
Mattress. A good night's sleep is worth it, every penny of it.
Not cheaping out on doesn't mean you have to buy the most expensive version of this product. Just that you shouldn't buy the cheapest. For some of the things mentioned, you can buy the cheapest version of it for like $10 and the most expensive version for like $200. Typically the $30 version will be great. That's the difference between quality and premium stuff. You don't need something that's hella fancy for it to be good. It just needs to get the job done well.
So often the more expensive version is just full of unnecessarily bells and whistles. Or is weirdly scented with some chemical smell. Half the time this all fucks with how well something works in the first place.
Power supply on your desktop PC.
Came here to say this. Here's the thing, if you cheap out on, say, a GPU, and it fails, you replace it. If you cheap out on your power supply, it could take the entire PC with it when it fails.
While you're in there replacing the PS, you may as well upgrade that GPU and CPU. But the CPU you bought is a different socket, so go ahead and swap that MB out. And why not round it off with some more RAM and upgraded cooling since you're already in there?
Trash bags. They're one of those items where you can really tell the quality difference. Trust me, you don't want the regret of lugging a bag full of rotten produce and cat litter to the dumpster. Trying to swing it over the edge and feel it tear apart in your hands on the upswing. It's a horror you will never forget. Buy better trash bags.
I am a cheap bastard, but I always buy decent trash bags.
Underwear, especially the bra, makes a whole lot of difference. Nothing worse than a cheap bad quality bra.
Ugh, for real. I hear women complain about the brass all the time, and I know it's one of two things or both. Cheap quality and or bad fit. VS is not a particularly good quality bra. And VS fitters aren't exceptionally good at fitting for brass in my experience. Go to the older woman at Dillard's and have her help you pick a bra. You won't regret it. It will sting to pay for it, but you'll have it a long time and it'll be comfortable and wear well. So glad I'm part of the itty bitty titty committee and can get away with having no bra support.
Toilet paper. You don't want your finger poking through that single ply and accidentally finger blasting your own cornhole.
You don't. You end up using so much more single ply than double ply that there really isn't much in the way of cost savings anyway. You don't know what I want?
Lawyers.
Running shoes. I'm suffering from years of cheap runners.
Same goes for any job that has you on your feet. For nursing, I always have 2 pair that I swap out mid-shift. There's nothing better than sliding your feet into fluffier and colder shoes when your current ones are hot, compressed, and sweaty.
And if you actually run, pay attention to the condition of your shoes. I don't run anymore, but when I did, I was replacing them every 3 months.
How do you recognize when it's time to change them? As I just had to find out, white wall paint. The cheap stuff is gray and translucent. Always use primer too. It makes a difference.
And don't believe them when they say the paint includes the primer. Learned that the hard way.
Tampons or other feminine hygiene products. You can really tell the difference in those things.
For real, and the most expensive option, that being a reusable cup, ends up being the most comfortable and the most economical. Go figure.
Dental work.
True, but stay away from Aspen Dental.
I'm gonna go with mattress. When my GF and I first moved into our place, we were on a budget and bought a cheap mattress. Ended up cause a ton of back and neck pain for me. So much that I had to see a chiropractor for a few months. Ended up buying a more expensive and quality mattress, and now I have 0 back and neck issues. It's awesome. Edit. I understand everyone's concern about the chiropractor. But I just got a massage and TENS unit treatment. Nothing crazy. And it was done by a licensed massage therapist. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Knee support. I learned the hard way. Do not buy the cheap things from CVS. You only have 2 knees and you will miss them when they are gone. Go for a Bauerfiend. Expensive as hell, but these bad boys let me ski again.
There's this weird culture of hardness I've encountered in the army that sometimes results in an anti-knee pad sentiment. Some call them bitch pads. I'm looking forward to seeing the state of their knees in 25 years after the amount of time we spend putting all our weight plus 50 to 130 pounds on one knee.
Hell yeah, I have a pair for jujitsu if my knees get messed up. Love them.
Butter. Have some fucking self-respect. And go for the Kerrygold. Edit. Okay people, I get it. There are better butters out there. Have mercy on my inbox.
This needs upvotes. Kerrygold changed my life.
Kerrygold is great, but where I live we have this butter called Brethren butter. It's Amish and it's incredible. And it costs the exact same as the normal butter.
Shoes. I can't tell you how much money I've wasted buying cheap shoes only to have them go to shit and have to buy new ones in like a month. Spend the money on the good shoes and you won't have to spend it later.
As a person suffering from plantar fasciitis from years of wearing cheap shoes when being on my feet all day, I would beg anyone to spend the money on well-cushioned soles. Heel spurs are as painful as they sound.
A set of tools or power tools. If you buy a great set once, you'll have them for a long time and they will almost never fail you. Plus, using a quality tool is so much better than a cheap alternative.
I was told buy cheap tools. Then when they break, replace them with the best tools. You only spend money on the tools that are vital and you still have the random other things for the rare job that needs it. Obviously there's exceptions though.
I would say 100% yes if you don't know how often you will use it. If you're someone who uses tools a fair amount, this would be a waste. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day you wonderful people.